Hello, this is David Dean, and we are back in Canny Valley. And this is going to be a walkthrough of everything in the zone, as far as there's seven different amplifiers in the zone. I'm just going to go through and show you where the spawn points are, how I built for each one of them, and basically just a total review of the zone. I also want to point out, when I first started doing this, my main goal was to do basically a library of every single Storm Shield defense in the game, soloing it at a level lower than the Husks coming in, and I'm about 3 Storm Shield defenses away from doing that now. And if you look at the description box and below this video and hit show more, there I have them, all of them listed, so you don't have to go searching through my videos or anything else. You can just look in the description and click on any Storm Shield defense you want to go, or even how to solo launch the rockets and other missions. So just to let you know. But let's go ahead and get this started. When you first come in here, you have the home base, of course. And the home base can get attacked from all 4 different directions, and basically it's just straight out every direction. So the west is the one side that you can never place an amplifier to block off the spawn point. So basically here from the west, you can get spawn points here from Storm Shield Defense number 1 all the way up to Storm Shield Defense number 10. And it's the only side that can do that. But for the home base, it can get attacked from straight out from the west, straight out from the north, straight out from the east over here, and of course straight out to the south. We will go ahead, let's see, for here, and for defenses of this, if they attack here from the east, and almost all of these, basically they got to do a wishbone to attack. Partially they'll come up the ramp here, and you build your defenses for it right here on this ramp. And then over here is the other leg of the wishbone, where they will come up, and this is where you have to build your trap tunnels. Now, as soon as you build the amplifier down here in the pit, then that spawn point goes away for your home base, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. And I would recommend, actually, the first amplifier you throw down would be over here to the north, and I'll explain that in a bit. But once again, it has the wishbone over here, where mobs will be coming up down below and going up this side ramp here, or they could go possibly come through over here and up through this tunnel I showed you for the east. So you kind of have to leave this one open, both from the passage to the north and the passage to the east, to build your trap tunnels for mobs coming in. And once again, once you build Amplifier A, you don't have to worry about that being a spawn point anymore. And over here to the south, this one, even though it's all nice and clear over here, they can't come up this ridge. Like right here, I just get stuck on it, so do the mobs. They can't get through. And if you put like a floor here, they can't get up here without beating out that floor. And where they really want to go through is right here to come up towards your fort. And then over here, they want to go up this ridge right here to attack. And that's where you build your trap tunnels. And if you watch my videos, my Storm Shield Defense number 1 for this, I go through on how I built all the trap tunnels around my home base. But by the time you finish up, you're only going to have trap tunnels on one side, and that is here to the west. You can do this a few different ways. Pretty well, everybody but one person I have seen do it as a wishbone, like I have here with the metal traps there, is where they come in, and over here. I have seen one person who just built a staircase from down below and had them come straight up towards the amplifier. And if I run a third account, which I probably will, I will test that out and show it to you. But what I did down here is basically you're going to have spawns, and these spawn points constantly change a little bit. They're in the same basic area, but like here, it's guaranteed you're going to get a bunch here in the middle, but sometimes it will be heavier off to the right, and sometimes it'll be heavier off to the left, and it can cover a rather large area. So that's why I end up most of my builds having multiple tunnels go into them. And one thing, somebody did warn me, it doesn't happen much, but just as you can go into the tornado and get thrown up top here, that same thing can happen with the husk. And usually, I actually had this destroyed last time. Down here is the spawn point for the majority of it. Some will spawn up on this ridge, but not very many. And this, if you're building it, just put up electric fields, ceiling traps on this lobber shield here, and it takes out most of the low-level husks the second they spawn. And then this time I did a little bit different than in the past. In the past, I just had them come up the natural ground, and I had traps around it. This time, I built a ramp. And there was only one time that they beat through the ramp and things got a little bit difficult. Still managed to take them out without too much issue with the launchers and traps back here. I believe that tile right there is where the ramp comes out and levels up. So even if they do beat it out, they still have the traps here to keep them away from the home base. And never really had much of an issue. Now over here, this is the amplifier I would always recommend putting down first. When you first put it down, it's a little bit of pain because you get spawns from the east, the north, and the west. And the reason I like putting this one down first is because I believe you only get two choices. Either this one here or the one to the east, the amplifier B over there. But they share a spawn point over here. And this spawn point, once you have both of them down, will go over here to this amplifier A, the one north of your home base. So if you got to build a trap tunnel over here eventually anyway, it's better to put this amplifier down first. That way when you put down amplifier B, that spawn point isn't going to go for B, it's going to go straight for A. So you never have to build a trap tunnel on the north side of B. So it just saves you a bunch of materials and makes life a lot easier. So that's my recommendation on that. Over here, once again, you can go into my listing to see how I built for this. I think I put this one up as Storm Shield Defense number 2. And over here on the ramp, I set it up differently this time because right where this amplifier is, that's the spawn point over to amp A until you place this one here. And before I had tried to force them down this natural ramp, but instead of that, I just built a bridge out for them to walk straight to the amplifier and loaded it up with traps. And it seemed to work extremely well. Once again, I did have to wishbone it with one trap tunnel here and one trap tunnel on the other side of this rock. But you can check out the video on that. This one I just want to go through pretty fast. And on this one, you also, all the way through, will be getting attacked from the north. Up here, this is not the main spawn point, but you will have spawns up here. Just those purple tentacles, you'll have 2 or 3 of them. And if they are lobbers or pitchers or range attackers, they will come out to the edge and attack you here. And that's why I got this little trap deal here and just eats them up in a heartbeat. But if you get the other husk, some of them will drop down into here. And you can see, let's see, get a better angle on it. I have a trap area down there where if they go down that way, they get taken out. But a lot of them come all the way over here to the other side of the amplifier. And they drop down in here to walk across. Don't know why they go that long route, but they do. So you just fill this up with traps. So when they drop down, they're just getting eaten up. If anything makes it through, fine. Just build some more traps down here and pretty much everything dies before getting out of this small area and getting up to your amplifier. For the north side, as I said, that's a small spawn point up there. The vast majority of them are all going to spawn down here on this level. So when they're coming up, you can do whatever you want. You can do a big old trap box like I did here with a 2x2 with timeout rooms and launchers. Or I've seen other people just put up ceiling electric fields to eat up all the little husks as they come in. Then they'll head up this ramp over into this natural cave that, yeah, you just make a trap tunnel out of, and even the elemental smashers were getting eaten up without a problem. Over here, as I said, some will drop out from either way up above or this second tier one. So I just do a trap box here, have them walk across up to the amp, and once again, hardly anything ever got through. And it combines with the other trap tunnel. And so that is what it is from the north and the west. On the east, it has a nice natural area. This one you don't have to worry about splitting or anything else. Well, I guess there is a little bit of it, but the spawn point is right here. And a little bit up there on the rocks, there is Amplifier B. Like I said, if you place A first, the one I did for A, they will always spawn to it. If you do B first, then they will spawn up there until you place this one over here. And it always gets confusing because they label the amplifiers in order of how you placed them. And I wish they would just name the amplifier so everybody knew what somebody was talking about when they say the amplifier's name. But hey, that's epic. That's the way they do it. But yeah, this is a straight tunnel. Some will try to come over here, bash through, and sneak up there. And if they did bash through, I have an opening here. So the few times a few mobs got up here, they just walked in here and dropped right back into my trap tunnel with everything else. But I block this off as well as I can because you'll get flingers, lobbers, and blasters all trying to find an angle on your base. And so I just have down here metal blocking it for anything coming up here. And that's just something I learned on my first account. I built a huge trap tunnel in here. Just tons of resources, tons of traps, and it never once got used. So just trying to save you that fun. Over here, this is the one I recommend you putting down second. And this one can get attacked from the east and from the south. And the south is just a pain to build on. First, you got this nasty ridge here that you can't put down any floor tiles. I ended up, once again, just building out straight out to the amplifier so that I could build traps and everything else. And then I had the build up there, forcing everything into this trap tunnel. From the south, up there. And most of that has been taken down. Now I incorporated it into the other amplifier's trap build. For attacking from the east, a few of them, like the flingers, will try to come around this little tunnel here. So it is good to put up some traps and a barrier just to slow them down and to stop them from trying to basically come around the flank of the amplifier and do a nice little attack on you when you're worried about everything coming through this tunnel here. This is a natural wishbone area in here where that's all rock in the middle, so you have to do 2 tunnels around it. I have seen people try to block off this middle tunnel here, so they either come in through there or go way up there. Since I seem to get a ton of propane waves on this with exploders throwing the propane tanks, I'd rather not have something build up that they just might decide they just want to blow up for the fun of it. So I leave it open down here. Since I use heavy base, whose base does the electric floor damage, makes traps go off 20% faster, and has that huge Nova explosion, I built a little room here to drop my base in. So, and since there is this huge rock base here, lobbers can't target your amplifier, so you really don't need your constructor base way back at the amplifier. You can put it up here in the front. Ceiling electric fields were all up here and all got used up for a nice strong build. And then, as I said, they can come around here and try to sneak in that tunnel, but I just did a 45 with a launcher and some traps, and I don't know if this hardly ever got used. I'm trying to see. Well, yeah, this one got used 7 times, so evidently I did have something trying to sneak through here. This amplifier, most people forget about. A few people I have seen place it, and they really regretted placing it. Basically, you get mobs spawning up on the cliffs and down below, and it is really ugly. So, would not recommend placing this amplifier. And so up here, I placed this. It never got used. This seems like, and I guess we're good to go and start working on what I place as my third amplifier, Amplifier C. And you can get attacked from the east, but it seems to be a rare spawn. On my first account, I got attacked from there. I've seen 2 or 3 other people get attacked from this direction. But it seems to be extremely rare that you get attacked from this side. So I did put some defenses in, but nowhere near the defenses I had put in to the south or the west for this amplifier here. And for this one gets ugly. You just know, and to let you know, on all the waves of all the Storm Shield defenses, if you put down the same amplifiers as somebody else, they're going to get attacked on the same waves every time for the same Storm Shield defenses. And they're going to get the same type of husk. So, you know, if you watch your friend's Storm Shield defense number 5 and you have your amplifiers placed the same as him, if he gets attacked by smashers and propane at amp A on the first wave, you're going to get attacked by that. What does change and what is random is what direction, because like this amplifier can get attacked from 3 different directions. So while I might know this amplifier, like on my Canny Valley Storm Shield defense number 10, I know this thing's getting attacked on the final 5th wave, and it's going to be smashers and propane husk. What I don't know is which direction they're coming from or what elemental type they will be. That is random. But for this one, you know this is going to get attacked on the worst wave out of all of them of Canny Valley. So you really have to build this one up big time, and I did. And this was actually, I had my first failure of any Storm Shield defense on this one. And I did it on my second try. And even on my second try, we had a lot of damage in here. But the way I set this up, let's see if we can still get over there. When you place this amplifier C, that will take away this spawn point for going into your home base. And now the spawn point is for that amplifier. Now, over here for the spawn point when it's your home base, it's spread out along this line here where they can spawn at. And then when it changes, it can spawn anywhere from up here on this ridge all the way across over to the ridge over there. But the main bulk of the spawn is almost always right down here, right where I have the ceiling electric field. Be warned though, I don't have ones here, because they can spawn on top of these rocks. And if you do the shield here, they'll drop down on your ceiling and just walk across the ceiling to your amplifier, which isn't what you want. And on this, let's see, start over here. I actually have 4 tunnels on this because the spawn was so wide. And let's see, oh, they bashed out the stairs over here. Didn't even realize it till now. And let's see, yeah, the stairs, I had them going up here, coming through all the traps, all funneling in, trying to get them straight to the amplifier while getting eaten up by the traps. And this was kind of new. Once again, before I had done it where they just walk on the natural ground, but you can't build traps on stuff like this, so I decided, hey, let's do stairs and see how that works. Like here, evidently, yeah, they ended up tearing this up. But once they tore it up, they just came up here and right back into the trap tunnel where they were getting eaten up. And this was the second trap tunnel. And then I had a third one over here, which basically it just has two 2x2 areas. I made the mistake. Well, I'll show you in a bit. This one, usually it's a 2x2 area, but my launchers do send them back 2 or 3 tiles. So I went ahead and made it 3 tiles long. And then if they made it through, they drop down into this 2x2 area. And it worked really good. The only problem is the launchers get used up. And if it's a propane wave, it's really risky running in to try to replace them. But on Storm Shield Defense number 9, the spawn point was up here, way off from where it normally is. And a lot of the husk just went up here, all the way around, and then down through this area. So I ended up building a trap tunnel area in here. Much smaller than the other trap tunnel areas, is mainly for taking out the lobbers and pitchers and range attackers like that. I did make the mistake of putting ceilings on this. So if they wanted to, some of the mobs could have just walked across the first trap tunnel area, and then they would have dropped down into the second one. But definitely don't put ceilings on this. That's a total mistake on my part. But that is 3 of the 4. And actually, I'm just going to show you quick over here. For some reason in Canny Valley, like I said, there's 7 amplifiers. You get to place 4 of them. But there's 2 of them that you can't place, ever. Even when I had my last one to place, this amplifier was never a choice up on this hill. So even though it's in the zone, you never get the option to place this amplifier. And actually, I never showed the build from the south. The spawn is a little bit up on this ridge, but mainly down over here. And this amplifier, until you place this, husk will not walk on this black and yellow part. Because before I had a trap tunnel entrance here, but they couldn't get to it without walking over this, so they just ignored it. So I redesigned my trap tunnels around the amplifier, making a wishbone, and then all of them feeding into one point and dropping down to the amp right there. And this worked extremely well. No issues, no real problems. So, and actually there is 3 tunnels. There's 1 tunnel there, and this is kind of leftover tunnel, just in case of if the spawn shifted a little bit more to the right, they would be coming through this one. And once again, dropping right down to the amplifier. Make sure around your amplifier, everywhere you have 45s or slants of some kind, because the smashers, once they get in here and they see the amplifier, if they see a flat wall, they will charge it. So you really want to stop that if at all possible. And we got 1 amplifier left to go. And actually, that was the one I was having the most fun with on Canny Valley this time through. It was a huge pain my first time through, but going through a second time, I used a lot of the stuff I had learned in the past, and it made life so much easier. This one, I placed this one 4th. To me, it doesn't matter too much between C and D, which one you place first. But this is just the way I went with it. And over here, once you place this, of course, you can no longer get attacked from the west on amplifier A. And over here, you can only be attacked from the west and the north. Now, for the north, you got a few interesting things here. Basically, it makes you kind of do 3 trap tunnels, because your spawn point is going to be up on that cliff and over there, and you're going to have them down here spawning all over the place. So they can come in. This has a natural wishbone down here with the rock, so they can go through over here, this trap tunnel area, no problem, and eat them up. And I had a launcher down there before they got up to this area and into the main tunnel to the amplifier. And we just walked through the other trap tunnel right here for them coming up. And you really want to build this and we'll get up there in a bit. But I built a wall basically up there, so anything spawning up top coming down here would have no choice but to drop on this one single tile. And when it did, it got hit by traps and a launcher, sent down there, getting hit traps and floor traps, and just eating up a ton of them before they could even get into the trap tunnel area. But this one, the big thing I did different, I had never seen anyone do it before. Basically, the way it seemed like everybody had ran this in the past was you have this cliff edge here and a spawn point up on this ridge. So they would just put launchers here on the wall, have mobs walk through here, and then the launchers try to send them down. The thing is, if the launchers got used up or you had elemental smashers, just ignore them. You get over here and you cannot build anything to stop them just walking across this ridge all the way over to your amplifier. And this was just a big nightmare situation that I could never find an answer to until I came up with the idea of doing the stair. Let's see, we'll get out front. And they're spawning right up here, tons of them. So I just put a wall with a launcher, traps, and I gave them a stairwell to walk up. And it worked really good. I had one run, the last run, they did try to bash through the wall, but it was pretty easy to manage, to come over, heal the wall, replace it, and as you had seen, I kind of predicted that they might try that, so if they did try to bash down the wall and get through, then they would get hit by the launchers and sent down into the trap tunnel pit. So kind of doubling up there, which worked absolutely great. But yep, they can come up through here getting hit by launchers and hardly anything got through. Maybe a few smashers got up here. But if I was shooting, I could have took them out in a heartbeat. But I really just wanted the traps to eat them up and to show people not to panic. Not worry about smashers getting through, because on the higher level Storm Shield defenses, if you're soloing, the smashers are going to get through, but the smashers do no damage to the actual amplifier. They might destroy all the structures around it, but your amplifier does not take any damage. And just looking for how to get back up there. All right. And on this one, I did an entirely different build to the west that I had never seen before. I wanted to try out something new. And everybody, including myself, I'd ever seen do this, basically set it up. They would have a trap tunnel on top, and then when they got to the cliff edge, they would drop down and try to do some traps down here. But once again, you have areas you can't build that they're going to be dropping down onto, which causes huge issues. So my answer to that problem was to build a bridge. Just let them walk all the way through from the spawn point straight to the amplifier and see how that worked as a test. How did it work? Kind of mixed. Nothing, well, I did have a few get through, and once again, you have an amplifier here that you can never place. You never get the option to place this one. That the mobs have to go around. The spawn point is all back here, a big area. So I had ceiling electric fields taking out the most of them, and they were supposed to be going through the tunnels here, and they did. I mean, this one only got used one time, and it was used 32 times this launcher went off. So yeah, and nothing got through the main tunnel area. That wasn't a problem. Over here, I knew a few might try to go down and spill over down this ramp. Unfortunately, it wasn't a few. It was a lot of them, and a lot of smashers came this way. As I said, it was just one run, and as you can see, this was used 30-some times. And so I did have a few smashers, a few regular ones get hit through here. I had to throw down traps and reinforce it a little bit, but still managed to survive without too much of a headache. And that was the final amplifier build. So that is just what I consider a real quick walkthrough of all of that. You can definitely solo it. I show every single pretty much piece of metal I put down for every single trap here. I go through each of the videos explaining the spawn points and how I angle my traps and trap tunnels to try to make sure that the husks just walk straight through. They don't try to bash down any walls. The smashers don't charge. The exploders don't throw their propane tanks. And they all get eaten up in the trap tunnels trying to get to the amplifier. And like I said, just check out the description box, hit show more, and you got a listing there of every single one of them. So there you go. Canny Valley, ask me all the questions you got, things you think I did right, things you think I did wrong, things you would like to see me do in the future. So take care and have a great day.